This is the lesson for G1e, which is to identify errors or gaps in mathematical arguments and develop counterexamples to refute invalid statements about geometric relationships. So I took that right here directly from the state standards, and what we're going to focus on is this word counterexample. Alright, and basically what that is to get you to be a critical thinker, to look through a logical argument and see if you can punch any holes in it, to see if you can find any errors in the thought process that goes on in pretty much any statement that can be made in geometry. We're going to look at a couple examples and then talk about what it might look like on the state test. Take a look at this statement here. It says, it's a conditional statement, and it says if an animal is a dog, then it has 4 legs. Is that true? Is that false? So think about that for a moment. And in this process of thinking about if this is true or false, what you're trying to do is come up with what's called a counterexample. And that's the whole point of this lesson. If you can think of an example that proves that this is wrong or false, that's a counterexample. This one happens to look pretty good. I'm going to put up a different one here and see if we can find a counterexample to that. Take a look at this one. I've written the converse of the original statement. It says if an animal has 4 legs, then it's a dog. Sounds good at first, but then maybe you better start thinking about that and think, okay, well, is there a counterexample that shows that this is incorrect? So an animal that has 4 legs, well, a cat has 4 legs. Is that a dog? No, it's not. A horse has 4 legs. Is that a dog? No, it's not. So these are all examples of a counterexample that would prove this statement is incorrect. And that's the point of a counterexample. Hopefully this scenario right here looks familiar to you. At this point in time, you might have some statements and reasons, statement, reason, statement, reason, and then you're trying to prove something is true. This is called a proof in geometry. So the point of having you learn about counterexamples is that you can go through a proof line by line and say, oh, okay, this is valid, this is valid, this is valid. You can evaluate whether or not a proof is true or false. It's really important that when you do a proof that you yourself check your steps to make sure that you yourself can't find a counterexample. This will help you in your quest to become a better person at writing proofs as well. And what about real life? Does this apply to real life? Counterexamples. Well, we may not use that word exactly, but you should be thinking about counterexamples almost every day. If somebody tries to tell you a fact, a statement, make an argument with you, the best thing you can do is to come up with a counterexample, or at least try to think of a counterexample, so that you can participate or argue against or agree with someone who is trying to make a point with you. So is it applicable to real life? By all means. You use it every single day. So there you have it. That's what you need to know. The key here is counterexamples. Trying to come up with a way to prove a statement is wrong. Extremely useful. It's a required topic for the end of course assessment as well.